there's a medication for everything. Ozempic, still in the news. But I'm not just talking about Ozempic today. I'm really frustrated with the fact that anytime you walk into your doctor's office, first of all, they are going to mention your weight. That there's no getting around that. But then they're going to turn around and tell you that it's probably too hard for you to eat on plan, etc. Why don't you try a weight loss medication? And this is me pointing something out to you, Wellness Warrior, that I learned from following all the doctors that I learned from about how to do a keto and diet and actually improve my health. The number one thing I remember them talking about was that whatever you do to lose weight, you will need to keep doing long term, because that thing is how your body got to where it was. And Dr. Funk specifically talked about this from the perspective of the calorie diet, because it was such a problem. If you do a low calorie diet, after 6 months, your body recalibrates. And when your body recalibrates, you then have to decrease the number of calories that you were eating to make sure that your body is able to keep losing to get you to whatever weight you're trying to reach, first of all. But then what happens when you get to that weight? As soon as you're at that weight, you are now in the new problem that so if you are hungry and struggling on this diet that you did, you've got to keep doing it for the rest of your life to maintain what you've been able to maintain. If you are exhausted on this diet, if you have brain fog on this diet, this is your new normal. This is how your life is just going to look, because this is what you have to keep doing to maintain your weight loss. I think it's really easy to sell any of us on this idea that weight loss is a matter of calories in, calories out, when we absolutely ignore the part where our body will adjust to whatever we're eating, because our body's focus is on doing what's best for our good health long term. So if in the short term I don't have access to food, my body is going to reduce the amount of energy that I put out one way or the other to make sure that I can live long enough so that when the food resumes, I can move forward and continue to live my life. Please subscribe. And I don't know that we give our bodies enough credit for knowing what's good for us. I think we're always trying to outsmart ourselves. And this is another thing that frustrates me. Every new twist on the keto diet, on low carb, is presented as a new diet. It isn't. If you take your carbohydrates down appropriately, your body's going to let you lose weight. If you struggle to get your carbohydrates down to a number where your body can get into ketosis, you are not going to lose weight. If you struggle to remove the toxins from your diet, even if your carbohydrates are low enough, you are not going to lose weight. Why? Because your body is too smart to focus its attention on weight loss when there are toxins coming in. And I don't know how to say that in a different way, Wellness Warrior, that's going to help every single person who's trying to be at their healthy weight fully understand the humongous importance that exists around eating healthy food. If you don't eat healthy food, your body will struggle. And it will struggle because it's what it's supposed to be doing. If you eat the healthy foods, then your body doesn't have a struggle. It's really that simple. And I think that, so companies want to complicate this for us. And the reason that they want to complicate this for us is because if we don't understand that it's more than just decrease your carbohydrates, if we don't understand that what we're actually trying to do is help our body by making sure that all the foods that we eat are clean, What do I mean by clean? What I mean by clean is that you're eating the least amount of toxins that you can. So recently I put a video up about lazy keto, dirty keto. And the number one thing I was trying to get across in that video was that when we mistakenly focus our attention on eating dirty keto, we are actually allowing toxic foods back into our life because we're not making the distinction between eating for good health and eating for fun. So when you do dirty keto and you go and you grab a burger and throw the bun away, that burger still has seed oils. It still has all the toxic things that those food companies don't care about. They're not solving for what you're actually trying to accomplish, wellness worker. You want good health. What they're solving for whether it's an influencer or whether it's the fast food joint itself, they're solving for I'm hungry, I want to eat right now, rather than solving for I'm hungry and I should be looking for something healthy to eat. That's not the same. And I really do think that if we don't let ourselves see that I'm hungry and I'm going to find something healthy to eat is very different than I'm hungry and I need to eat this minute, we never learn to plan better for ourselves because we're not even thinking about planning for ourselves because we think eating fast food is an option that can help us to achieve the goal of good health that we claim to want. If you actually want good health and your focus is on getting good health, no matter what you need to do to get it, then you will put in the time, energy, effort that's necessary to plan for what you're going to eat on those days when you don't have access to your kitchen or to the local restaurants that you typically eat at, or maybe that you know you might have to work late. How am I planning for that? Now, I'll share something with you. My life was easier when I got to the stage that I was so dedicated to eating on plan every day, no matter what, that if there was nothing available to me to eat that fell within what I thought was healthy, I was willing to fast on a spontaneous, I'm just going to fast today. That allowed me to then be sure that every time I chose to eat, I was eating something that was healthy and that fell within what I was comfortable. Are you doing that for yourself, wellness warrior? Are you making sure that no matter what, every time you're going to eat, you're eating things that you are comfortable with? Because if you do that and you do it every single time, your health will actually improve. Now, if you've ever wondered why it is that I'm so adamant on all of this, when I was younger, I had an iron deficiency problem. Every time I go to the doctor to take my blood, she's iron deficient. And I was forced to eat red meat to try to get my iron count up. And then I was forced to take iron pills that made me feel so sick. It was crazy. And eventually I learned that I have thalassemia, meaning none of the iron that I was taking was ever going to solve the problem. Medication was not the problem. Was not the answer. And it was never going to be the answer. But I was taking this medication because the doctors should know what's good for me, right? The doctors are on my side. They want my good health. No, the doctors were following a protocol that says if you have a young person that has these numbers, you prescribe this pill. And that's not happened to me once. That's happened to me multiple times where I was having rashes and I was prescribed creams for the rashes that I put on religiously that did not make the rash go away. Again, told to keep using it because this is the answer. Again, they were trying their best to help me with following the rules that they were given, that they were told that's the answer. If you have a young person, or if you have a, no, I wasn't a young person at that point in time. If you have a person in front of you with this kind of situation, this is the thing that's going to help that rash. The rash never went anywhere. And then eventually I had joint pain. And I was in front of the doctor, and they said to me, hey, this isn't looking good. Very likely at some point you're going to need to have surgery to solve this hip pain that you're having. But by the way, I wasn't able to walk properly. That a trip that, so to travel a distance that should take me 5 minutes was taking me sincerely 15 to 20 minutes. The amount of pausing and that I had to take. And they're telling me that there's nothing to do until it's time for surgery, and that wasn't now. That was into the future. All of this to say, Wellness Warrior, my life was not feeling very happy at all. And I'm being told, yeah, you're gonna have to wait. Yeah, soon. Yeah, eventually. All the stuff I'm being told. And what solved all of these problems for me? So my rash went away, my joint pain completely gone, and so many other things that I didn't even know I was living with, like brain fog. I think so much, all kinds of things, was lowering the carb count that I was eating. My entire life changed, and I solved so much by lowering a carb count that I didn't even know was an issue I was having. Why were they telling me that I needed to put these creams and take these pills? Because that's what they were taught in medical school, in dermatology school, in wherever, when I went to the nutritionist to try to get my weight under control. Why were they telling me to eat copious amounts of carbohydrates, and so how many servings of fruits and vegetables and grains and nuts and seeds, and to lay off all the fatty meats? Why were they telling me that? Because that's what they were taught in their nutrition and dietetic school. And what I learned, not because they figured it out, but because my life placed it in front of me, was that they were wrong. They didn't actually have the right solution because they were believing information that was coming from a faulty source. And Wellness Warrior, I'm telling you this today because I know that if someone doesn't tell you that all those weight loss medications or skincare medications, how do you get rid of acne? You eat real food. If someone doesn't tell you that the real way to solve your hormonal issues is to eat meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, you will keep taking hormone replacement treatments and all the things that are covering up the underlying problem of overconsumption of carbohydrates. Now, how do you actually eat less carbohydrates? Well, we do that by, first of all, trusting in ourselves that our body will heal when we give it meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, and that we understand that our overeating of these carbohydrates isn't a personal failing. We do that because we've been taught to do that, because every nutritionist and our doctor, our pediatricians, when we have our children in front of them, are all screaming at us that fruits and vegetables are the healthiest things on this planet that we can eat, even though fruits and vegetables are high in carbohydrate, and carbohydrates cause our body to struggle. If you want to heal your body, Wellness Warrior, what you want to do is find yourself eating less fruits and vegetables. Find yourself eating less processed foods altogether. So that's all the cookies, bread, pasta, all junk food, and these healthy pretend foods like bread and pasta and all the healthy grains. These things are so high in carbohydrate that even if you aren't eating cookies and ice cream and chips and junk food, they keep our bodies struggling, and we end up needing these medications regardless. And once we're eating medications, our life just gets even more frustrating and difficult, because those medications don't only help us cover up the symptom, those medications cause problems. And it's really frustrating to me that many of us aren't aware of the huge problems that medications cause, because they alleviate symptoms that were screaming at us in the moment, but the problems that they're causing to the left or to the right of those symptoms cause us to need more medications and more medications. And the average adult that started off with one medication to solve one small problem they were having end up taking 3 to 5 medications because we had one irritant that was causing our lives to be frustrating and annoying. So, if you'd like to get your health back, if what you'd like to be able to do is be out in the world doing fun activities, eat meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, and allow yourself to decrease the amount of carbohydrates coming in. Trust me that even though it seems like a very simple thing that shouldn't make such a huge impact, it's amazing the gigantic impact it makes on your health to remove excessive amounts of carbohydrates from your diet. Now, if you are taking medication, you will need to consult with your doctor, because you'll be surprised how quickly removing carbohydrates from your diet will make those medications extremely potent, strong, overpowering. They will cause you to, for example, if you're taking a blood pressure medication for high blood pressure, all of a sudden you'll have low blood pressure. It's the carbohydrates have such a huge impact on our body and cause us to need many of these medications. So when you remove them from your diet, you won't need those medications, or at least you won't need them in the doses that you are currently taking them. Work with a doctor is the point I'm making, because it happens quickly, and I want you to have success. And in order for you to have success, you need to take everything seriously. Let me know in the comments below. Was your doctor open to working with you on this change in diet so that you can reduce your medication? And be proactive. Let your doctor know before you start, because very likely they're going to attribute the changes in your health to the medication working. If you don't let them know that, hey doc, I'm changing my medication, so they take a look at what's going on with you today, your blood pressure readings that you've had up until the change, and then the blood pressure readings you're having since you made the change, trust me, they're going to say, oh no, it's the medication finally kicked in. If you've been taking medication for more than a year and you haven't had amazing results, and then you change the food you're eating and all of a sudden your blood pressure is changing, that's not the medication miraculously working. That's the new change you made kicking in. We need to advocate for ourselves, and we do that by talking about what we're doing so that our doctor can see the changes that we're making and then adjust accordingly. They're not going to believe us unless we show them, this is what I changed. More and more doctors are getting on board because they're seeing the results of people eating healthy keto and carnivore, and their health actually improving. And by the way, Wellness Warrior, it's your decision to take medication or not. And in the grand scheme of things, it's your doctor's job to assist you on the best choices you can make for your good health. Help your doctor help you to make those decisions by talking openly about what you've been doing so that they can adjust your medication based on the food that you're eating. I really hope this video helps you to get your health back. Put in the comments below, what changes did you make and how did it play out for you? And of course, click on the video that's right there. That's going to help you to get your cravings under control. Talk to you soon.